Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing Comic Uno's top 10 Kickstarters of the month. And before I get started, I do have a couple friends' Kickstarters that I would like to shout out, my own as well. And also I do Kickstarter consulting, so if you're looking to up your game for Kickstarter, be sure to hit me up and we can talk about some consulting. First is my Kickstarter, like Fatherlight Daughter. It's about a high school girl. Father left her to become a full-time superhero. Everyone in the world loves him except for her, and then she inherits his abilities. And with this arc, it's a jumping on point where we get to see her take over that mantle. So hopefully you guys could go check that one out. Jumping into Breath of the Giant. This is a deluxe edition. This is by Fair Square Comics that has a plethora of great graphic novels, including this one where it's about two sisters that believe that magic and the breath of an actual giant can help them bring their mother back to life. A very character-driven story and those are the type of stories that I enjoy and that we get to see from Fair Square, and they just have some wonderful hooks as well. Jumping into Blade of Frankenstein. If you don't know Clay Adams, he is such a great horror writer and has a plethora of great horror titles, including this one, where we get to see a sword and sorcery meets gothic horror with Mary Shelley's monster cast as a wandering barbarian. So what a wonderful way to clash mediums, clash genres in again, this more horror-driven book. Moving on to The Game, issue 1 through 4. This is by Charlie Stickney. He is one of the big giants of Kickstarter with White Ash and Galarian, and The Game also starting to pick up some more traction as well, which I love seeing. Also with art by Mal Mora, who is doing the coloring for Fatherlight Daughter and has done a ton of titles for us, Haunting, and Devin Taylor included for that. And this is just a fun little take on the idea of life being a game. And again, what I love about Charlie's writing is his theme and how he can ground kind of larger than life stories. Moving on to the last friend pick, and then we'll go into the top 10, and that is Blood of Lantis issue 1 through 2. If you like Indiana Jones and Dungeons and Dragons, this is both of those genres colliding. Our main character and her friends explore the lost city of Atlantis. I really feel like this is one of the best new titles on Kickstarter, and a great way to jump on is now. I love the look of it. You could tell how much work and sweat and tears has gone into this page and the book in general, and I love seeing titles like that. So those are all the friends picks. Now let's jump into the top 10. Number 10 for me is The Soul-Selling Corporate Drone, a queer romance fantasy, and this is an anthology manga Yuri style book exploring different genres. Honestly, a wide variety of them, with devils and mermaids and princesses, so I'm sure you'll be able to find your next favorite story in there. And as a fan of manga and Yuri and obviously queer storytelling, I was very excited about this one. Moving on to Glow issue 1 through 7, another more mainstay on Kickstarter, and if you like the Studio Ghibli style storytelling, this feels like that within a comic book, really from, again, the storytelling to the art style as well. Moving on to number 8, which is Maurice and the Metal. This is just such a fun concept of this metal drummer who has super strength. It's such a fun little mishmash of genres. I love when you got music in comics because it is a static medium, so you're like, okay, well, if you can't hear it, how do you see it? And I feel like this does a pretty good job with that. I love the reds that are being used with the thumbnail in particular, and it really was a striking page. Moving on to number 7, which is Santa Francis Volume 1. It's a queer book. It is also a long-running queer book, which I love to see. And a focus on queerness I haven't seen as much on Kickstarter. There doesn't seem to be as much gay men on Kickstarter. And then also specifically like bears I thought was very interesting. So it's just a side of queerness that I just don't see enough on the platforms. That is number 7. Moving on to number 6, which is Poppa Chapter 1 out of 5. So it's a mini-series, and this is about the grandfather of a creator and really showing his love for his grandfather and showing the grandfather's heroism and his love for his family through this kind of comic book medium, which I thought was a really special way to utilize your platform and tell an interesting story. Moving on to number 5, which is Thousands of Cuts, issue 1. It's a bloody, brutal, supernatural thriller where a sentient sword curses a young woman with a dark past, so you know it's gonna be dark and gritty. And I like the angle of this kind of almost like Katana character from DC and having their own spin on it. Moving on to number 4, which is High Street Hellcats. It's a graphic novel in London, 1920s. It's a heist book, but what I love about it is a full female cast, and again, it's a time period that you don't get to see very often, so it just kind of drew me in from the concept and the solid art style as well. Moving on to Sanguine Foundations. This is a Black trans title, which kind of reminiscent of shows like The Magician. It's the college angle of wizardy and witchy storytelling, and I thought this came from a really interesting point of view, again, from a Black, queer, trans characters. I'm very excited to see where this title is going to go. All right, moving on to number 2, which is the big giant of this month, and that is Transformers, the Compendium. I'm very curious if it's going to beat G.I. Joe, which was their big, massive book from a few months ago, and it looks like it might. You know, there's a lot of money funneling into that one already, and, you know, it makes total sense. It's Transformers, which is a huge, huge franchise on its own, with one of the most popular comics in the direct market right now, which is really cool to see on Kickstarter with these beautiful compendium style books. It's a marriage of success, of course, with Skybound behind it as well, who have been doing amazing stuff, not just in the direct market, but also through Kickstarter, and again, marrying Kickstarter with the direct market. Moving on to number 1, which is the Murder Podcast, A Cold Open by Jeremy Haun. I love his work. He's best known for The Beauty, but what I love him most for is Red Mother from Boom Studios. I really love that book, especially if you're a fan of horror. I just think they did a great job with PTSD there. So I'm stoked for this one. This sounds really cool. Again, as a horror fan, it's about this podcast that's a murder podcast that might become the star of the murderous things going around them. As I like the hauntingness of it. I like the concept, playing with a medium that is popular with true crime and putting its own spin on it. So it's a book that got me very excited, and it was something in a genre that I am very into. So that's my number 1 pick. Let me know in the comments below what are Kickstarters you're backing right now and most excited for. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.